Okay. Hello, Leon. Superwoman. Okay, Janelle. Okay. All right, good. So, y'all, let me explain to you what happened there. I did some Windows updates this afternoon, and it messed up the drivers to some of the softwares and hardware devices that I use to deliver this class. So when I realized that I couldn't write, I realized the driver was off, and I had to reinstall it and restart the computer. So I had to restart the live stream. So let's see to get down to this tonight, okay? These questions are pretty simple, so I don't expect that we should be here later than 9 o'clock. We should be done long before that. Okay, so those of you who can do these questions, work with me, throw the answers in the chat, but I'm going to work them out and explain them as we go. If you don't understand something, you let me know and I'll explain again, all right? It's not a problem. Good evening, Juliettan. All right, so January 2017, paper 2, question 2, part A. Write as a single fraction for 2 marks. So they gave us an algebraic fraction here, and this you solve just like regular fractions. It's just that it have algebraic terms inside of it, like x and y and so on. Okay? So as with any regular fraction, in order to make two fractions one, we have to find the LCM. So the LCM here of 3 and 4 is 12. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, and this is 4 multiplied by the numerator here. So this is 2x plus 3 plus 12 divided by 4 here is 3. So this is 3 multiplied by this numerator here. So this is x minus 4. Okay? So Nafisa, that's correct. So let's expand the numerator here. 4 2s are 8, so this is 8x. 4 multiplied by 3, this is 12, plus 3x minus 12, all over 12. Let's group the like terms. So putting all the x's together, this is 8x plus 3x plus 12 minus 12, all over 12. Now notice here 12 minus 12 is 0, and 8 plus 3 is 11, so this is 11x. So 11x all over 12. So I'll go it over again. So in order to make these two fractions one, I need to find the LCM. The LCM is 12. All right, take the denominator and so, divide the LCM by the denominator, and the answer, I will multiply each numerator. So that's what I did. So 4 multiplied by 2, x is 8x, 4 multiplied by 3 is 12, 3 multiplied by x is 3x, 3 multiplied by minus 4 is minus 12. Grouping all the like terms here. So 8 plus 3 is 11, x, all right, and 12 minus 12 is 0. So that's the answer, 11x over 12. All right, so let's go to part B. All right, they said here to write the following statement as an algebraic expression. The sum of a number and its multiplicative inverse is 5 times the number for 2 marks. So let's start off by saying let the number be x. All right, so that's the number. The next thing is we need to establish what exactly is the multiplicative inverse. The multiplicative inverse is the reciprocal. So seeing that the number is x, so we're talking about the reciprocal of x. So this here will be, it says the sum, so sum means to add, right? So x plus the multiplicative inverse, so this is 1 over x, which is also the reciprocal of x, is equal to 5 times the number, so this is 5x. That's it. There's nothing else. All right. Part C. They said here to factorize completely part 1, x squared minus 36 for 2 marks. So anytime you see these, this is difference of two squares. All right, and almost every single exam they bring this type of question. So just learn how to do this and pick up some easy marks, okay? Anytime you have difference of two squares, find the square root of each term. The square root of x squared is x. All right, and I'll just square x to get back x squared. The square root of 36 is 6, and I'll square 36. And I'll use the terms inside of the brackets to write the conjugate. So this is x plus 6 multiplied by x minus 6. Note this could be x minus 6 multiplied by x plus 6. It's the same thing, okay? That's the answer there. So this is the difference of two squares. The square root of x here, x squared, is x. And I put the x inside of brackets and I square it. Square root of 36 is 6. Put it in brackets and square it. And use the terms inside of the brackets to write the conjugates. Okay? And that's the answer. Lovey, you'll put brackets, put that x plus 6 in brackets, okay? Because it'll have a different meaning when you have here x plus 6 multiplied by x minus 6. Okay? What this means is this 6 is multiplying by everything inside this bracket. All right? Good. All right. So that's that. So now they gave us a quadratic equation here to factorize. All right? 2 multiplied by 12 here. Remember factors of AC whose sum is B. All right? That's the rule. So 2 multiplied by 12 here is 24. And we're looking for two factors of 24 whose sum here will be 5. So I'm going to use 8 and 3. Okay? So this is going to be here 2x squared plus 8x minus 3x minus 12. And the HCF of these two terms here, okay, is 2x. So 2x squared divided by 2x here is x. Positive 8x divided by 2x here is plus 4. I'm going to repeat the brackets here, x plus 4. All right, and you see this third term here, minus 3x. I'm going to divide it by x here. Minus 3x divided by x is minus 3. Notice here that minus 3 multiplied by positive 4 is minus 12. So that works out nicely. We're going to factorize out the brackets because the brackets are the same. So this will be x plus 4 multiplied by 2x minus 3. All right, that's correct, Nafisa. All right, so let's go it over again. The rule states that factors of AC whose sum is B. So 2 multiplied by minus 12 is minus 24. We're looking for factors of 24 whose sum is B here. All right. So I'm going to use 3 and 8. All right. 3 and 8. You could see them here. And we need to put them in a way that we'll get 5. So 8 minus 3 is 5. Notice here that I maintain an even number of negative signs. If they are negative signs, remember they must be even, right? For them to work out and factorize nicely. We have two negative signs, 2 is an even number. Okay? So the HCF of the first two terms is 2x. 2x squared divided by 2x is x. 8x divided by 2x is positive 4. Repeat the brackets. Minus 3x divided by x here will give minus 3. Minus 3 multiplied by positive 4 is minus 12. And we just factorize all the brackets and put the remaining two terms in a bracket. All right, so that's that. Party. Okay, the formula for the volume of a cylinder is given as volume is equal to pi r squared h. Make r the subject of the formula. So I'm going to write here V is equal to pi r squared h. And they want to make r the subject of the formula, so I'm going to write there r. Now, because I want to get r as its subject, I'm going to divide both sides of the equation by pi h. Pi h. I'm going to do some cancelling off here. Notice h will cancel and pi will cancel, okay? So what I remain with here is r squared is equal to v all on pi h. Now they want me to find r, so I need to take the square root on both sides of the equation. Now we only looking for the positive value of r, so usually when we take the square root, it's always plus or minus, but you can't have a negative radius, okay? So we only deal with the positive value here. So the r here is equal to the square root of v all on pi h, okay? Square root of v all on pi h. So let's go it over again. Well done, Nafisa. Pi v all on pi h. All right, so they gave us here v is equal to pi r squared h. So I write out the formula v is equal to pi r squared h. But I want to get r alone, so I divide both sides of the equation by pi h. The pi and the h will cancel and remain with r squared. So therefore I could rewrite this as r squared is equal to v over pi h. To get rid of this r squared and make it r, I need to take the square root on both sides of the equation. So this becomes here v square root of v is equal to square root of v divided by pi h. Okay, so that's r. All right, last part here. So now they gave us here that given that x squared plus ax plus b is equal to x plus 2 all squared minus 3, work out the values of a and b for 2 marks. So I'll write this here, x squared plus ax plus b is equal to x plus 2 squared minus 3. Okay? Now, this is a perfect square, and I want you to recall here, all right, for perfect squares, this is something to learn. It's a nice expansion for perfect squared. A plus b squared is the same as a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay? So please learn this. This is something to commit to memory. It comes in really useful, okay? So I'm going to apply that here. Now you could always multiply it out manually as well. All right, so this is like a and this is like b. So a squared here is x squared plus 2 multiplied by 2 here is 4. 4 multiplied by x is 4x plus b squared is 2 squared is 4 minus 3. Okay, so this becomes here x squared plus 4x, 4 minus 3 is 1. So notice here, the coefficient of x here is a. All right, so this is a here, and this is b, ax plus b. Okay, so therefore a here, a is equal to 4, b is equal to 1. Is that clear, class? No problem, WizKid, no problem. It's not a problem to go it over. All right, so let's run through this again. So they gave us here x squared plus ax plus b is equal to x plus 2 all squared minus 3. And they want us to work out the values of a and b. So I just rewrote this line that they gave me here. And I want you to notice that this here is a perfect square. And for perfect squares, there is this expansion here where you have a plus b squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay? Now I use that here. The first term here is a. X is a and b here is 2. Okay? So a squared is x squared. 2ab, 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. 4 multiplied by x here is 4x. And b squared is 2 squared is 4 minus 3. Okay? Notice here that we have x squared plus 4x. 4 minus 3 is 1. So this becomes here When I remember they want to find out the value of ax and b. Well, a and b, the coefficient of x here is a, and the constant term b, all right, is 1. So therefore a is 4 and b is equal to 1. Janelle, I wouldn't be able to do that tonight. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be able to deal with matrices tonight. I'm sorry. Okay. Just for the students who are having difficulty with this expansion though, just remember, if you not able with this, you have x plus 2 squared. This means here that x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 2. Okay? When the power is 2 here, it just means that the bases are multiplied by itself. All right? 2 times. Well, 1 and this by this. Okay? And you know how to expand this. Notice that you'll just take the first bracket and multiply the second bracket, right? Break up the first bracket. This is x by x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 2. All right, so this is x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4. This is x squared plus 4x plus 4. Do you notice that this here is the same as what we have up here, x squared plus 4x plus 4? Okay, Lovey, all I did here, you see this bracket here? If the student have problems working out with this expansion here, the perfect squared, they can also just take this expansion, x plus 2 all squared here, and just multiply them out and get this answer. The working is longer, but you will notice that x squared plus 4x plus 4 is the same as when you expand all of this, and you just subtract 3. Okay? This way is longer, but if the student prefer that, no problem. I'm not going to complain, okay? Live to do review admats. Right now, I can't tell you anything about the admats. I'm being honest with you, I really can't tell you anything. If I decide to do anything, I know the admats is the 21st. I will put a notice, all right, Nafisa? But I can't promise that right now. Just I know this is very frustrating. All right? But you gotta look it over. All right, this is the end of January 2017. Let's go on here to May 2016. All right, May 2016, paper 2, question 2, part A, factorize completely, part 1, 4a squared minus 16 for 2 marks. So, again, you see this is difference of 2 squares, right? So, all we're writing here, square root of 4 here is 2, square root of a squared is a. And we just square this. Square root of 16 is 4. And we just square that. Take the terms inside the brackets here and write the conjugates. So this is 2a minus 4 multiplied by 2a plus 4. That's the answer there. Okay? Just take the square root of each term, write the conjugates. What is that, Janelle? Okay, this is your answer, okay? So here now, what we want to do here is to we want to factorize this quadratic equation here. So 3 multiplied by 8 minus 8 is minus 24. And remember the rule factors of AC, whose sum is B. Now here we want to get 2. So I'm going to use 4 and 6. All right, because 6 minus 4 will give me 2. So I'm going to write here, this is 3y squared plus 6y minus 4y minus 8. The HCF of these two terms here is 3y. So 3y squared divided by 3y is y plus 2. And I'm going to repeat the brackets here. Y plus 2 minus 4y divided by y here is minus 4. Minus 4 multiplied by 2 here is minus 8. Okay, so that works out. So I'm going to factorize all the brackets here. y plus 2, and this is 3y minus 4. Okay? And that's the answer there. All right, so they gave us a quadratic equations. We know that we have a rule to work with. Factors of AC whose sum is B. So 3 multiplied by minus 8 is minus 24. Factors of minus 24 that will have a sum of 2. I'm going to use here 4 and 6. All right, because 6 minus 4 here will give me 2. All right, the HCF of the first two terms here, 3y. 3y squared divided by 3y, I'm getting y. Positive 6y divided by 3y, I'm getting 2. Repeat the brackets. Minus 4y divided by y here, I'm going to get minus 4. Minus 4 multiplied by here by positive 2 is 8. Minus 8, it's minus 8. I'm going to factorize all the brackets here. So this is going to become 3y minus y plus 2 multiplied by 3y minus 4. Okay, and that's the answer there. All right, so here they ask you here to solve the simultaneous equations. And to determine which method you're going to use, look at the coefficients of the variables. You're seeing here very clearly the coefficient here is 1 of this term, of this y value here is 1. And because the coefficient is 1, I'm going to use the substitution method. So I'll call this equation 1, and I'll call this equation 2. So from equation 1, I'm going to write here that y here is equal to 3 minus 2x, and I'll call this equation 3. And I'll sub equation 3 into equation 2. Always remember that the equation I used to make equation 3 in the substitution method cannot be you cannot substitute back into that equation, okay, that you used to make equation 3. So I have to substitute here into equation 2 because I use equation 1 to make equation 3. So I'll write equation 2 here. This is 5x minus 2y is equal to 12. And wherever I see y here in this equation, I'll replace it with 3 minus 2x. So this is 5x minus 2, open brackets here. 3 minus 2x is equal to 12. So we're going to expand the brackets here. So this is 5x minus 2 multiplied by 3 here is minus 6. Minus and a minus is a plus. So this is 4x is equal to 12. So 5 minus, all right, let's group the like terms here. This is 5x plus 4x is equal to, take the 6 across, is 6 plus 12. 5 plus 4 here is 9x is equal to 18. Divide by 9, divide by 9. The 9's cancels, so x here is equal to 2. Okay? So we skid x is 2, that's correct. Just I could have used elimination, but elimination is the harder method for this particular type of problem. I will go and discuss that just now, okay? I'll discuss that. So I'll sub here x is 2 into equation 3. All right, so I'll write equation 3 here. Y is equal to 3 minus 2x. Y is equal to 3 minus 2, open brackets by 2. Y here is 3 minus 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 here is 4. So y here 3 minus 4 here is minus 1. All right, y'all, don't worry, I'll discuss it, okay? Lovey is y is minus 1. Okay, just check it over. It's 3 minus 4. It's a little sign error you make, okay? So therefore, x is equal to 2 and y is equal to minus 1. Okay, so let's discuss this thing very carefully, okay? When do you use substitution and when do you use elimination? And this is a key, okay? You use substitution when you have a coefficient of 1. So when you examine the simultaneous equations that they give you, what you're looking for are coefficients of 1. You see this y here? The coefficient of y here is 1. I usually, when I teach this in class at school, I would just look at the equations and ask the students, who's lonely here? Anybody doesn't have a partner, they don't have no number in front of the variable, they're lonely. So they have a coefficient of 1. And if they are lonely, then you're using the substitution method. If they're not lonely, you have to use elimination. So if this y here had a coefficient before it, we would have had to use the elimination method, where you would say, let's say you wanted to eliminate x, you would take this 2 in equation 1 and multiply the whole of equation 2, and take this 5 here and multiply the whole of equation 1. And when the signs are the same, you will subtract. So this will be equation 1 minus equation 2, and you'll eliminate x. Okay? But you don't need to do that when you have a coefficient here, which is one of the terms here has a coefficient of 1. You just take that equation. So I took equation 1 here, and I make that term the subject of the formula. So y here is equal to 3 minus 2x. And always remember, the equation used to make equation 3 in the substitution method, you cannot substitute back into that method. Okay? So here, equation 1 was used to make equation 3. I have to substitute into equation 2. Are you all clear with that? Okay, that's how I know which method to use when. All right, mind you, you could go ahead and use the elimination. It will work. It's just that that's up to you. Okay, but the answer is x is equal to 2 and y is equal to minus 1. All right, let me know if that's clear, please. Kinda. All right. Let's go on to C. Part C, the table below shows corresponding values of the variables x and y, where y varies directly as x. So y varies directly as x. Calculate the values of t and u. Okay, so they said y varies directly as x, so therefore I could write here that y is proportional to x, but we cannot do any calculations with this proportion. We have to write it here in the form y is equal to kx, where k is the constant of proportionality. So let's find the value of k. We go to the table and choose the two values that are known. When x is 6, y is 3. So when x is equal to 6, y is equal to 3. So we write here y is equal to kx, and I'm going to substitute the values of x and y and solve for k. So this is y here is 3. This is k multiplied by 6. 3 is equal to 6k divided by 6 divided by 6. K here is equal to a half. Okay. I understand if it makes up your head, all right? So there are many things to learn in this algebra. All right. So k here, you always have to find the value of k. Once you find the value of k, you could find u and t now. So I'm just going to draw a line here. So when x is 10, y is u. X is equal to 10, y is equal to u, and we have here, now k, the value of k remains the same throughout, okay? So k is equal to a half. So right here, y is equal to kx, and I'm going to substitute the values that I have here. So y here is u, k is a half, and x here is 10. So u is equal to a half of 10 here is 5, and that's the answer. Last one now. So when x is equal to t, they gave it up from the table here, y is equal to 9. And we know here that k is equal to a half. So I'll write here y is equal to kx, and substituting into the equation here, this is 9 is equal to a half multiplied by t. This is 9 is equal to t over 2, and put this over 1, and I'm going to cross multiply here. So 1 multiplied by t is t, 2 multiplied by 9 is 18. So therefore, k is equal to a half, u is equal to 5, and t is equal to 18. All right, and that's the answers. So I'll just run it through again. All right, so here we have, they told us that y varies directly with x as x. So I'm going to write here y is proportional to x, and I cannot do a calculation with this proportionality sign. So I need to replace this proportionality sign with an equal sign and a constant of proportion k. Okay, so now I could perform a calculation. Now the recommended part of doing this calculation is that you must take the known values of x and y and determine the constant of proportion k first. So that's what I did. When x is 6, y is 3, and I write the formula y is equal to kx and substitute x and y and solve for k. Okay, k here is equal to half. Now in all the calculations that I'm going to perform here in the future, I'm going to use k is equal to a half here for this problem. So now in this column here, when x is 10, y is u, and k is equal to a half, so I write here that y is equal to kx, and I'm substituting here. So u is equal to a half multiplied by 10 here. Half of 10 is 5, so u is 5. Go again. Here we have k, x here is t, y is 9, and k is a half. Y is equal to kx, and we substitute again. Now a half of t is the same as t divided by 2, cross multiply, and I'm getting here t is equal to 18. Okay? All right, if you say that's the easiest paper question on the paper, I like difference of two squares. No problem. You could check out this after the live, okay? All the best in your accounts, Nicholas. All right? All right, people, that's the end of this question, eh? We're done there. Let's go on to January 2016. All right. So, okay. Part A. January 2016 paper 2 question 2 part A. 1. Solve for x where x is a real number, and for 2 marks, so they give you this inequality here. So what I would recommend is bring all the x terms to the left hand side, put all the numbers to the right hand side. So this here is minus 5x, because remember you're treating this inequality sign like an equal sign. All right, so every time you move a quantity across it, the sign changes. So 5x, when it comes across, it becomes minus, and minus 5x, and this is minus x. This is less than or equal to. Take this 8 across, this becomes here minus 8 plus 2. So this becomes here minus 6x is less than or equal to minus 8 plus 2 here is minus 6. Now, remember that we cannot divide an inequality by a negative coefficient. So what I have to do, I have to multiply throughout by minus 1. Okay, so this is minus 1 multiplied by minus 6x. And when I multiply by minus 1 throughout, it reverses the inequality sign. So this becomes greater than or equal to minus 1 multiplied by minus 6. So this becomes here 6x is greater than or equal to 6 divided by 6 divided by 6. X here is greater than or equal to 1. Okay? So that's your answer there. So I'll go it over again. All right, Lovey, that's correct now. All right, so I'm going to place all the variables to the left-hand side of the inequality, place the numbers to the right-hand side. All right, now remember that we're treating this inequality sign like it behaves similar to an equal sign, so anytime you move a quantity across, the sign changes. Okay, so minus 5 minus x here is minus 6, and when we take the 8 across, this is minus 8 plus 2, so this becomes minus 6. But we cannot divide an inequality by a negative coefficient, so we have to multiply throughout by minus 1 to make the coefficient positive. All right, so minus 1 multiplied by minus 6x. And remember, when we do that multiplication, we have to reverse the inequality sign. Here it was less than or equal to, here it becomes greater than or equal to. So this is minus 1 multiplied by minus 6. So therefore, we have here 6x is greater than or equal to 6. Now I could divide both sides of the equation by 6 to get 1x. All right, so here x is greater than or equal to 1. Part 2. Show your solution to A part 1 on the number line below for 1 mark. So all I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to x is equal to 1. And remember, this is greater than or equal to, so this will be a shaded circle. If it was just greater than, it will be an unshaded circle, and the arrow just pointing so. Okay? Kenny, all the best in your period. This will be up, okay? All the best in your exam. You'll need it. Okay, I'll say a prayer for you all. All right, so that's it. Let's move on. All right, part B, expand and simplify for 2 marks. So we're just going to use the distributive law here to expand this. So this is 2x squared. 2x multiplied by 5 here is 10x minus 3x minus and a minus is a plus. 3 by 4 is 12. So let's simplify. 10 minus 3x here is 7x. So this is 2x squared plus 7x plus 12. Okay? 2x squared plus 7x plus 12. That's the answer. All right. So all you're doing is using the distributive law and expanding those brackets there and simplify. All right. Laws of indices. They ask you to simplify this. All right. So you're multiplying the coefficients. So this is 3 multiplied by 4 here is 12. And because these bases are the same, x, using indices here, when you're multiplying and the bases are the same, we add the powers. So 2 plus 3 is 5. And this is over 2x. Now remember that any quantity that looks like this, like it doesn't have a power, the power here is 1. And when you're dividing and the bases are the same, you will subtract the powers. So by the laws of indices, all right, this becomes here 5 minus 1 is 4, and 6 divided by 2, 12 divided by 2 is 6. All right, so that's the answer. 6 multiplied by x to the power 4, or 6x to the power 4. Is that clear with you all? Okay, part D. Write as a single fraction in its lowest terms for 2 marks. So this is an algebraic fraction. So we just have to find the LCM of 2 and 5 here. Okay? 2 and 5, the LCM of 2 and 5 is 10. So I just write 10 here. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 5 multiplied by the numerator here. So this is 5 multiplied by x plus 1. All right? And this plus sign comes here. 10 divided by 5 here is 2. 2 multiplied by 5 minus x. Okay? Expand the brackets here. All right, so this is 5x plus 5 plus 2 multiplied by 5 is 10 minus 2x all over 10. So we could either group the like terms or you could read this off and do it, all right? 5 minus 2x here, 5x minus 2x here is 3x. And 5 plus 10 here is 15. All over 10. All right, now this is one way of expressing this, or you could just simplify the numerator here and just factor out 3. So this is x plus 5, all right, if you want. If you want, but I'm very satisfied with the left hand side as well, okay? Anyone could work. All right, so this was an algebraic fraction. You just find the LCM and divide the LCM by the denominators and multiply each numerator by their respective quotients. Simplify them, and you could either use the left hand side answer there at the bottom, or you could use the right hand side if you wish to simplify it further. Don't really business with that. Once you can reach that point, it means that you know what you're doing. You'll get your marks, all right? All right, part E. Factorize this. Difference of two squares. Very simple. So this is 4x squared minus 4. The square root of 4 here is 2. The square root of x squared is x. So this is 2x squared will give 4x squared. Square root of 4 is 2. So this is squared here. Take the terms inside of the brackets and write the conjugates. So this is 2x minus 2. Repeat the brackets here. This is 2x, but instead of this being plus, this will be a minus. This will be plus. All right, those are the conjugates. That's the answer there. All right, so what are we there? Yeah, we're done. All right, we have one more question to do and we're done for the night. You all get that? All right. May 2015. All right, so May 2015 paper 2 question 2. Yes, y'all, this algebra thing real easy. I mean, I love it too, but still. All right, it's easy. Listen, I did 8 matrices questions already. How much more matrices all I want? And I went through all these things already. All the check online now. All right, I will go through all these things already. All right, so part A. Given that A is equal to 4 and B is equal to 2 and C is equal to minus 1, find the value of part 1, A minus B plus C for 1 mark. I know the matrices is hard. Okay, I know it's hard, but you all just work with what I gave earlier on, okay? I don't like to come and do impromptu things because I like to prepare for my classes, all right? Especially where this thing is online. All right? So I don't want to come and do work like that just off the bat. But check out those that I did online, okay? And work through them. Make sure you can do those 8 questions. You should be very fine there. All right, so they give you A is 4, B is 2, C is minus 1. All you're doing is substituting here into this algebraic expression. So A here is 4, so this is 4 minus, B here is 2, and C here, this is plus minus 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. When you have these two signs here, you have to combine them. This is directed numbers. The signs are different here, so it's negative. Okay? So, for 2 minus 1 here is 1. The answer is 1. How are they coming up 7 and 5 there? Let me see what maths are they doing. 4 plus 2. Oh. Alright, so let's say 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. 4 plus 2 is 6 and 1 is 7. Alright. I understand what you all did, but it's wrong, eh? This is the correct working. Alright. The answer is 1. But it's nice sometimes to look at your working and see where you're making the mistakes, eh? It helps me to think about where you're having trouble with your knowledge. Okay? Don't worry, this is the time you can make your mistakes. Don't feel bad about it, alright? Alright, so part 2. Here we have two multiplied by a to the power of b. So 2a to the power of b. All right, this is 2a here is 4 raised to the power of b here, which is 2. Now, y'all, this is BODMAS. You have to be very, very careful, okay? Remember, let me write this thing here. All right, orders. Oh, for those of you who I probably never taught, all right? Orders here, orders is a British word. This is orders. All right, it's a British word here that represents exponents of powers, okay? All right, I know people usually say this thing over and over and say brackets of division, but it's brackets orders division, okay? All right, so your orders, you will deal with your powers first, and before you will deal with, after you will deal with your multiplication. So this is 2 multiplied by 4 squared is 16, and 2 multiplied by 16 is 32. All right, I'm seeing some 32s here, so you all seem to have a great command of BODMAS. All right, part B. All right, so I'm gonna work out this one because it was a little tricky, but it wasn't hard. It just that it required you to read in English and write maths. All right, translate that. So part B, a bottle contains 500 milliliters of orange juice. Write an expression for each of the following. The amount of juice left in the bottle after pouring out P milliliters. So notice that for each part 1 and 2, they want you to find the amount of juice left in the bottle. So you started here with 500 millimeters. So if you poured out P milliliters, then it will be 500 minus P ml. So the amount remaining here would be 500, and P is the amount you poured out. So this is P 500 minus P milliliters. That's the amount remaining. Are you clear with that? Just indicate to me in the chat, okay? So the amount of juice left in the bottle after pouring out P ml is the initial amount 500 minus P. All right. Part 2 here now. Again, we want to find the amount of juice left in the bottle. And in part 2, they give you Q glasses containing, each containing R ml. So to find out how many milliliters, all right, in each total glasses, it will be QR. Q glasses multiplied by R milliliters. So therefore, this will be 500, which is the initial amount of juice that I had in the bottle, minus Q, which is the number of grasses multiplied by R here, milliliters. So I'll go it over again. To find out how much juice remaining in the bottle, I start with the 500 milliliters. Then I have to subtract. For each glass has R milliliters. So let's say Q is some number. We take that number and multiply by the R, which is the number of millimeters that is in one glass. So QR will give the total number of milliliters of juice that would have been poured out. So to find the amount remaining, I say 500 minus QR. Okay? All right, so this is a worded equation, and normally when they give you worded equations, they would want you to write the simultaneous equations and solve it. In fact, this thing was just meant to scare people, and then if you didn't pay attention to it, you realize how much marks you just throw away. All you had to do was read the questions and write the two simultaneous equations and write what x and y represents, and that's it. You didn't know how to solve it. All you had to do was read in English and write maths and say what they mean. No solving. So let's go. So they told us here just now, I think I skip out C here. Yes, sorry, I skipped out C. I'll come to D just now. All right. So write as a single fraction. Write as a single fraction as simply as possible for 2 marks. This is an algebraic fraction. The LCM of 3 and 5 is 15. So this is equal to 15 here. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 multiplied by the numerator here, which is 5 multiplied by 2k. The plus sign comes here. 15 divided by 5 here is 3. This is 3 multiplied by the numerator, 2 minus k. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. So this is 10k. Plus 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. 3 multiplied by minus k here is minus 3k. All over 15. So 10 minus 3 here is 7. So this is 7k plus 6 all over 15. All right, and that's the answer there. Okay, so you find your LCM, divide each the LCM by each denominator and multiply by their respective numerators, and you get your answer. All right, excellent. Now let's go to the simultaneous equation here. So part D, 4 mangoes and 2 pears cost $24, while 2 mangoes and 3 pears cost $16. Part 1, write a pair of simultaneous equations in X and Y to represent the information above. So they said 4 mangoes and 2 pears. Now we'll say let X represent mangoes and pears, Y represent pears. So we have here the first equation, 4 mangoes, so this is 4X plus 2 pears, which is 2y, is equal to 24. That's your first equation. The next one, they said while 2 mangoes, which is 2x, and 3 pears, which is 3y, is equal to 16. So those are your two equations. Now part 2 here, they said state clearly what x and y represents for 1 mark. X represent mangoes and y represent pear. Yeah, 3 marks for that. What do you think? Let me know, okay? All you had to do was to read the question and write them out in equations. All right, easy marks, 3 easy marks. Yes, I serious. All right, now you're going to mash up CX here. Last question for the night. All right, so part E. Factorize completely. Part 1. A cubed minus 12a. We have to use the HCF here. A cube, the HCF of a cube and 12a here is a, because a is the lowest power of the common terms, okay? All right, the coefficients are 1 and 12, so we just leave it as 1. All right, so a cubed divided by a here is a squared, and minus 12a divided by a is minus 12. That's the answer for 1 mark. All right, so find the HCF of these two terms, which is a, and divide each term by the HCF and just put the quotient there in brackets. Excuse me. All right, so the last thing here is to factorize this quadratic equation here. Notice 2 multiplied by 3 here is 6 factors of 6, all right, whose sum will be minus 5. All right, so I'm going to use, now I want you all to notice this carefully. Let me write it. You have 1 multiplied by 6 and 2 multiplied by 3. These are the two factors of 6. Notice here very carefully, you could say minus 6 plus 1, which is 5. Minus 6 plus 1, which is minus 5, and you could say minus 2 minus 3. Now, this is where my method of doing things comes into play, and it helps you not to go and make no mistake with this thing. All right, count the number of negative signs you have. You have 1 negative sign here. All right, 1 is an odd number, and my rule tells you that you need to maintain an even number of negative signs. So you need to choose factors here that will allow you to maintain an even number of negative signs. If I use here minus 6 and 1, all right, to get this here, I will still end up with an odd number of negative signs, and it will not factorize. So use the minus 2 and 3, and you'll see it works out nicely because you maintain an even number of negative signs. So this here is 2x squared minus 2x minus 3x plus 3. The HCF of the first terms here is 2x. 2x squared divided by 2x is x, minus 2x divided by 2x here is minus 1. I'm going to repeat the brackets, x minus 1. Minus 3x divided by x here is minus 3. Minus 3 multiplied by minus 1 is positive 3. So I'm going to pull out the brackets here. This is x minus 1. And this is 2x minus 3. Okay? And that's the answer there. And that's the end of the 4 questions for the evening. All right, we were able to do that in about an hour. Okay? You all cool with this? All right, we have no more live streams for work for math. All right, I've done a ton load of questions with you all. I will be meeting with those of you who want prayer on Tuesday night. Yes, you're gonna pass math. Okay? I don't want to panic you all now. I did enough work over the last 5 weeks. Please use my videos on YouTube. All right, I'm coming on. I have a live stream for 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. It's for about 10 minutes. I'm just going to share something motivational with you all and encourage you all, give you all a few tips, and I will pray with you all. And I wish you all the best. Now, y'all, I work as a missionary, not just teaching math and so on, but I do work as a missionary. That's what I've been doing. All right. So, but my goal is not to force my religion on anybody. I do this to genuinely help you all. So, if you all want prayer, you could come. If you don't believe in God, that's okay. Okay. You don't have to come. I'm not here to force that on anybody. All right. But I'm just here to help you all and just give your best. Those of you who are asking about the matrices, do the 8 matrices questions that I did. You'll know enough, okay? You'll know enough. And I am confident, many of you who stopped by and you did work, I'm very confident that you all know enough to get through this exam. So I wish you all the best and go and mash up. Make your parents proud, okay? And make yourself proud. I wish you all the best in your futures, okay? And y'all, you see the night before the exam, make sure and sleep properly. You can't do math if you don't sleep properly, okay? Take care and goodbye. Have a good evening. Good night.